Alright folks, let's hop into the next stream here. Hope you guys are doing great. Anybody joining me for this next little bit here? Oops, well I killed the music. There goes the music. There it goes. The kids are having fun. Let's close that door. Alright. Okay, so what I thought I'd do today for the book cover stream is design a science fiction book cover. So we did fantasy, we've done nonfiction. Let's do like a sci-fi book cover. So if you're thinking about indie sci-fi, most of it is going to be like stuff in space. So that's kind of what I would go for. A standard science fiction cover is going to include elements that are going to first identify the science fiction and second identify what kind of science fiction you're dealing with. Is it like Space Marines? Is it like Star Wars kind of stuff? Is it war in space? Is it something else entirely? So it just really depends what you're trying to communicate as far as like what's actually in the story. Dog, are you coming in? Come on. And we can do this by using AI images, or we can use stock images. There's a bunch of different things that we can do in order to generate some of the things that we want to generate for this. Stock images are usually going to be fine for a lot of science fiction covers. You can grab pre-made art that you can license off of a stock photo website, or you can get backgrounds and things like that. So the elements that we're probably going to want to use are a planet of some kind of view of space. I'm realizing that I have since I set up a new computer, I'm missing some of my brush presets for Photoshop, which can be a problem because I use brush presets to make stars. So to make stars, I'm going to have to maybe figure out some other way to do that, or look up the brush presets that I used to make it and then like remake them live or something like that. So maybe you can see that, see some of that live. It might be interesting. So we'll create a composite image that has a planet, has some stars, and then we usually want maybe like some spaceships. We'll probably have to get spaceships off of stock photo website. Maybe we'll try to make everything with an AI just to have something that's new, something that's not been used in another book cover. That's kind of a big advantage. And then we'll find some kind of humanizing element, like a picture or a painting of whatever we want to portray about the story. So let's think about, think about what kind of sci-fi cover elements that you want for your book, and then that's more or less what we're going to do. Let me go ahead and let's do this. We are going to maybe try some AI prompts for some of this stuff, and then we will try just some stock photo prompts for a couple of these things as well. Let's see. That's the whole thing. Is this what I want? All right. Hopefully this is a good view for what we're doing here. All right. Yeah, we'll look at this. Okay, so let's hop over and we'll look at Discord. You operate Midjourney through Discord. And Midjourney is like the main one I use because you can get a lot of good pictures. So I might actually use this as a background for a cover. I was just experimenting with some stuff, trying to see like what kind of portraits I could pull out of this that can do different things. You can see there's like the body actually looks good, but the face is always like off. This is actually a really good one. Like you could probably just use this as a book cover and it would work just fine. Or because the hair's a little weird, you could just redraw this part or put a different model here. There's a lot that you can do with these colors. Like as long as the colors are good and you generally have the elements that you want, you can use something like this and it's gonna look really good. So I could use this as a book cover like without any problems. But we're going to do science fiction. So let's start with our first element for science fiction, and then we'll start to combine some of these and put them together and see what kind of book cover we can actually come up with here. So let's start with a planet. Let's do alien planet. Do alien, sorry, we've got to do /imagine. Let's see if you can see this. Let me adjust it a little bit so we can actually see the prompt. There we go. All right. Alien planet in space. What colors, and then we'll figure out what color we want it. Like green or blue or yellow. We'll do like green and blue planet in space with nebulas. I think nebula is actually the background. And you'll just see what it comes up with here for that. I've been experimenting with map making with Midjourney. Do you purchase a subscription? I do. I have the lower subscription because I've been doing so much of this stuff live and whatever. So for now I have one. I have problems with upscaling, still too blurry. Yeah, I wouldn't make a map with this. I hand draw my maps. So it's really, I guess, I don't know. I guess I don't have any advice. I haven't been using it to make maps at all. I didn't even think you could do that. So anyway, let's take a look at what we're getting. We're actually not getting what we're getting something that we could use for a cover, but none of these are quite right. I just really wanted a circular planet, but we're getting something that looks pretty cool. Let's try another one. We'll just try some different stuff. Like this, this right here could be the basis of a cover really easily, and it would look pretty cool. See how you have a land here, like you could, and then you could put a face, and then you'd be like good to go. Some of these are really cool looking, so I would be tempted to use this one, but I want it in 2x3. Let's do. We'll try this prompt again, but with the better aspect ratio. We'll do like green planet in, let's do green and blue planet in space with background photorealistic, NASA, -- AR 2x3, and we'll see what it comes up with here. Otherwise, I could use this and just crop it or extend it. They actually came out pretty good. That's interesting. I hand draw my maps because like they're part of my stories, you know. The map exists to facilitate the story. We're getting some different images here, but yeah, like we could use this one. You just have to imagine which side you're going to cut off, or how you're going to extend it. Yeah, none of these are usable. None of these are going to be usable here. This is closer, but let's try a different one. See if it can actually draw one. I don't know if we want the aspect ratio. AR23. A planet, I was thinking it might like square stuff better, but anyway, let's try this. So none of these are usable. These might be usable. Actually, this one in the upper right might be usable if we put some spaceships in it. We can see if it can composite some spaceships. The more you try to composite, the worse it is. Try this one. All right. Anything here? These are not usable either. This bottom one is. You could do something cool with that. Like it creates some cool looking stuff. But none of this would really be particularly usable here. This one would be, because it looks... This one, actually, I think would work really good. I'm going to upscale number 2 there. Actually, let's do some variations, and we'll upscale that one as well. Let's see what we got here. So these will be good variations. Spaceships flying past an alien planet. This might be usable right here, but there's no spaceships, as you notice. So we'll have to do like spaceships, and we'll see if we can do spaceships. Like this would be a good one because you could put a title up here and an author name. This would also be a good one. This would be a good one. This one, actually, you know what? I think we have one that could really work. All of these are good. Like all of these are really cool. You know, I really like this one, and I think I really like this one. It's missing some of the elements we want, but it's okay. Like this one will have them. So let's try upscaling this one and see what we get, because that's pretty cool right here. Let's do upscale 4. And let's see which one I like. This one or the variations. I think I like this one and this 1 and 4 the best. Weird. They look so weird, but I think number 4 is the best. So let's do number 4. Just made dinner kind of like your video for a while back. Just some chicken and salad and a tortilla, but I roasted my chicken in the oven. Nice. Need to eat after I'm done with this. So like this, you know, this could be a big part of a book cover just on its own. Let's think about a face. Like this is really good too. We just can add some spaceships to this. Like look at the detail. Like this looks really cool. And I think this one actually looks really cool too, because it already has the spaceships. But like the planet looks a little weird here, so we might like want to fix the planet, because sometimes when it upscales something, it screws up the upscale and like the planet gets messed up. Or we can, let's see here. That one's almost done. This one I think. Yeah, let's do the remaster. See what it does. We'll just try this out. This one I think looks really cool. Like I could totally use this. Just add some spaceships and stuff to it. Let's generate some spaceships and see what it can do. I haven't tried this out yet. Fleet of spaceships. Just see what it makes. Yeah, if nothing else, it gives you ideas for other stuff. But if I want to be efficient, I'm not going to try to make it composite too many things. Like, these are cool. Like, these are... I think that they probably are pulling something from Dune. Like, this looks very... This looks really good and weird. Like, I'd rather, like, fix that planet. This is why it's better to composite, because then it won't mess up. This, however, looks really good. You know? This looks really good. We could just add a face to that. We'll just upscale it. We can also try variations, right? Fleet of spaceships. These are like some kind of aircraft carrier things. Yeah, none of these quite look good. I wouldn't use any of these. I'd use this one. I would use this one. do yellow eyes. This will look cool. I don't know if we want a 2x3, but we'll do it anyway. Just so everything's kind of working the same aspect ratio. So yeah, this one I like a lot. I could totally use this one as a background and put a face somewhere, and boom, you have like a cover. It looks really good. This would be like a perfect classic sci-fi cover. This one is going to look a little more modern if we can get some spaceships. So I don't know if this one will do spaceships, or we might have to get some off of like a stock photo website. Let's try spaceships. And we'll see if any of these are usable. Instead of a space helmet, let's try something else. That's disrupting the thing. We'll do woman, beautiful woman. Let's take a look here. This one might be good. But we kind of don't want an ugly face, and this one's really ugly. You know, you kind of want to sell beauty. This one doesn't look too bad, but the nose is messed up. We'd have to repaint a lot of these, but I don't know. I'm gonna do. Let's come up with some variations for number 3. Cybernetic implants on her face. Let's see what we come up with here. So these, again, the spaceships. When it's trying to just render spaceships, it's trying to do. It just can't figure out what to do. That's okay. I should have done this 2x3 because I'm not going to get a full head here, so none of these are going to be usable. Let's see if there's one here that looks really interesting. I think I like number 1 here, or this one. See, these actually look really good, and I would totally use them, but we need the top of her head. So I'd probably I think I like this one. Let's upscale 1. Slash imagine. These are really good. So I'm going to copy this, but just put it in the correct aspect ratio, because we're missing the top of her head. So if you do a different aspect ratio, it'll usually draw it like with the top of her head better. Here we go. Is there an AI that takes pictures already made and remakes them into different art styles, like drawings into paintings? There is. So what's it called? Hold on. It's called Night Cafe. So Night Cafe, you can do this. It comes out in different weird ways, but you can totally try Night Cafe for that, and it works. It works pretty good. It works pretty good for that, if that's just what you want. You heard of the dude? Yeah, I heard about the guy who won a States Fair for AI generated art. I did hear about that. So what was I going to say about that? Again, my point is, good artists, yeah, they're still extending it down, like the wrong way. I need the top of her head. That's what I need. Here, this one's pretty cool. It looks pretty horrific. So if we're doing like sci-fi horror, you know, sometimes I'm just not happy with the way things upscale, but if we do a remaster, we might get what we want. Let's see. All of these are like really good. These first ones are good. Like if I was going to use one, it would be this one or this one. I think this one, actually this one is the one I think really looks good. It looks good enough that I would want to upscale it. You know, I'd want to upscale it. because I think she looks pretty. So I think there'd be something there. Yeah, we're still not. Once we get it into a high res situation, we're not getting what we want at all. For this like weird woman in a space helmet. So like as it upscales, things get kind of more demonic and weird. Whereas this one, same idea. You know, things get a little bit weird here. Not quite right. Not quite what we want. You know, let's try a variation of this prompt. Beautiful woman. We'll make sure that there's like something on her head. I don't know. Just put an antenna. And put it in the 2:3 ratio. Like this is really good. Like I would totally use this because of how freaking weird the eyes look and like the subtle electronics. And we are going to see it smaller, so I might still try to find a way to use that. I'm just not sure what I would do. I haven't tried that in Midjourney. I don't really know every new update because I don't do this too much during the week. I just maybe experiment a little bit at night. It's birthday of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I saw that Dave Mustaine turned 61 the other day, which is wild. See, this is getting closer. See how I have the top of her head? And I have the top of her head here. I need the top of her head. Yeah, I like this. This is a good one. I'm probably gonna use this one. Yeah, all of these are good. Let's use number 4. In the meantime, I'm gonna grab some of these that I made. We'll open the original here and save it. I'm gonna save it AI art. Let's do a new folder. AI work. Save it in there. And let's grab this one too, because I can use that one. All right. Then I'll grab this one just in case I want to use it. Get it in full resolution. You do need to open the original if you want the full resolution. You can make roughly 9 more images. Oh no! I'm running out. See, this happens when we upscale it or make variations. It starts to distort like the beauty of what's going on here. Let's just upscale number 4 and see what we get. I really like this one. I don't know if I could use that one on the cover though, for what I'm thinking of. Let's open up Photoshop, get to work. Yeah, Night Cafe does it. Is it legal to use AAR as book covers? Yes. It is legal. For female faces, use artwork by Chris Mars. Yeah, you can plug in actual artists and it's going to create stuff that's like that. You know, I can actually create something that's even stranger than that. So let's do a standard 6x9 book cover here. You guys can see that. Let me pull it down here so you all can see it nice and clearly here. There we go. let's get some of our images here. And hey, we should play some music here. Some music. Let's turn it down a little bit. It's for fun. All right. Let's go. OneDrive. AI art. There we go. All right. So we have a background image here. Like this could be a book cover all on its own. Like you could just use this as a book cover. It'd be great. You know, I might put more stars. I'll pull this one out too, just in case. So like you can see, you know, if we wanted to work with this level of this high contrast is going to be more modern feeling than this. What I might try here too is let's try like, yeah, this is really what I want here. Okay. I don't know if let's just grab it. All right. Okay. Oh, it's up here. Here we go. Like you could just create a face like this. I'll show you how we'll do a couple blends here. So you just create kind of half her face like this, and then it'll work. Okay, so before I do that, this is a cool image. Let's no, I want the marquee tool. No, I don't. I want the. That's not what I'm looking for. No, where is it? It's in the tool. I switched it to some other tool here. Set. Where's my like magic selector? My auto selector. Find it over here. It'd be funny if they like took something like that out of Photoshop. Quick selection tool, there it is. That's what we want. All right, so we'll just, well, clearly the AI on Photoshop is not as clever. Well, it's always cut out ears, stuff like that. We'll just be careful with it. Once we get it kind of cropped, we can really do quite a bit with it. I think because it's kind of a low contrast image. And because there's this kind of background to it, we may want to, I don't know, be a little bit careful here. That way we can use either side or flip it or do whatever we want with it. There we go. And so we'll make this big. Let's get the overall composition right here. Something like this, right? Something where we can like blend out the shoulder. Do something down here. This is why I like bigger is better. It always has been. Alright, sorry. Great, new Star Trek. Yeah, this is just showing like a way to make a good sci-fi cover. And you can even do something like this. Be that side. You can really play around with the way you like your images here. But because I have a light source here, I think it might be good to do it like this. And you could even cut her face and just have her face. You could do something like this. I don't know. There's lots of different ways that you could frame this. Personally, I like asymmetry. I think asymmetry lends a lot of interest to a book cover. So you could do something like this. I don't know. Another thing we can do here, let's see if we can do it. A couple of ways we could do this. So this is actually a pretty good little setup here. And let's do some text, and then we'll fiddle with the image some more. So this is just the basic composition. You have the elements you want: spaceships, planets, like a human face of some kind. Although I'm tempted to like make it bigger. You know, but you could play around with it. Kind of like a half a face. I think that just like it has kind of a stark appeal to it. So you just kind of pick which face, like which part of the face you think is going to look cool in the picture, and kind of go from there. You can always flip them around. Let's do the text. So the text is going to be title. We can do. Let's think of a sci-fi title. It's the sequel to Bitch Power. Yes, this is Cyber Power. Neil. It's just a name. So for most sci-fi, we're not going to want to use a serif font. If you have a serif font, this communicates certain things about science fiction. Namely that you're dealing with something more operatic, something more classic. But usually you're going to want to go with sans serif. So we're going to switch from Trajan. Trajan's a great font. You could still use Trajan for this project if you wanted to, but I think we're going to go with something a little bit simpler. We could do, like the go-to is to do something like Futura. You do like Futura, maybe like extra bold. It looks really plain, right? So we may want something, one that I like is Industry Ink. So Industry Ink has got a really good kind of slab style. We can also just look up a font, right? If we want to. We could get like a classic, a classic font, a classic sci-fi font. I think some of the Space Princess images I generated to post on Discord could work well for a cover like this. They could, yeah, absolutely. The main thing is you want the colors right. See the blue and the yellow all go together, so everything looks like it could be part of the same image. We're going to clean up the edges in a little bit, but let's decide on some fonts. We could do like something like this. There's lots of things you could do. This was going to be more military. As soon as you have a stencil font like this, boom, it starts to feel like something military. But I don't think that's what we want to go for this one. I use that for Voices of the Void. This is like Voices of the Void. This works. You could do something really skinny. Or let's just pick one name. So Planetary Neil, let's do Cosmic. And we're gonna want to. Well, anytime we're designing titles, I actually like to have just two separate, rather than doing separate, all in one line. We do two separate words, because then we can really control the way everything looks, right? And do Cosmic, and we'll do a weight like, instead of inline stroke, we'll do bevel or base. 3D. Or we could just do a different font. We can do Future or something. I think this looks really good. I'm gonna make cosmic. I'm gonna go back to industry. We'll do something like this. And then for this, we can actually do a lot of weird things. So one thing we can do is the C and the L lining up is a little weird. What asymmetry does it make you look at all over which might benefit marketing in some way? The Space Princess images have a lot of looking to the sides, which could serve as a good contrast for the lady looking forward. I like the intensity of looking forward. But yeah, asymmetry is really just that the image doesn't have everything like lined up in one way. You know, like I think this would work as well. But I kind of wanted to do some weird stuff with lighting. But we could flip it. You know, I could flip this image too. Or this image. Either way. I like this part of her face better. But, you know, I could put it over here so that the image is more filled up. It just depends what you want. I think I like this better. So I'm going to keep it there. So we'll do this. One of the things we could do... Or we could do something like, let's do this. I want this. And we'll do the inline stroke, but we'll make it like bold or something. Make it bold. See, that gives it a little more weight. Or you could even do like this. We can also bold it even more by doing this. We do a stroke around the outside, and you make the stroke white. Okay, so it's a white thing with a white stroke, and then when you add more, we want 100% opacity. You add more, see, it kind of beefs up the size of it, right? Outside. Here you go. So we have a little bit more. Let's slice it. 4. Perfect. So a little more weight on cosmic. And then for both of these, we're going to put these in a group, and then we can do some effects on both at the same time, like drop shadow to make them pop off a bit. Crank up the opacity, and then we'll dial in the size. That. That's really good. And then we can do one normal one that's a little bit smaller. There we go. Just to kind of make it pop off that part. You plan on try using Stable Diffusion? Yes, but I got to learn how to use it. Well, put the author name down here. Author name. And the author name down here is going to be in Futura. Future PT Light. That's what we want. Just like that. Okay. Now let's do a little bit of blending. And we have all the elements that we need here. So we have like every element that we could possibly really need to make this look good. But we got to blend this one a little bit better. So we're going to go over to this mask. And we're going to paint... out the edge. There's an edge here, see? So we're going to paint that out. Just like that. So we're going to get rid of any kind of stray extra marks. Let's zoom in really far, and then we can probably see really good what we're doing. This is a soft brush, so yeah. We can always switch it and kind of turn the opacity down, and we can kind of pull in the edges that got deleted here. If you want a little softer outline, it's not as pixelated. Kind of gives you a little bit more of the background. It'll blend in fine. Like this edge right here, we might want to like just kind of, yeah, let's get rid of it. That part coming off her head just doesn't quite look good at the planet. Kind of fill in her head here, right here, so it looks kind of cool. Bring her ear in more, so you can see we're giving her a little dark halo because her background on her picture was dark, and that's fine. We can blend that out later if we want to. In fact, I can do it right now. Just kind of. Boy, my cat's going crazy in the next room. My first Discord you posted the links to the easy use version of it. Cool. I know that you can get really like very finely detailed stuff by using really special, you know, kinds of prompts. Okay, so this will work just fine, kind of way it is. If we want like a little bit extra, what I might do is grab both of these and just size them up a bit. Something like that. You could even, we could do this and like spread it out. I'm wanting to blend, but I keep going back and I can fix this a little bit. I don't know why the capitals changed it, but I guess it did. You can play with colors with this too. Like I might make these yellow. Let's open up our effects here. We have a color overlay or a gradient overlay. What gradients do I have there? Here we go. This is a good one. Boom. Yeah, dude, that's way better. Okay. And let's do. Yeah, that's good. Let's turn it up to like maximum opacity. Let's make it reflected. Let's shrink it down. Pull it up here, and then let's turn it up. There we go. Perfect. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And we can just dial back the opacity just a hair. Dither. Dither it. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Alright, now it's starting to look cool. What art style is this picture? Painting? Yeah, it's a painting art style, which is fine. That's what we want. This is an example of a painted cover that would probably still sell because it looks cool enough to sell. You know, it looks like a real painting. Yeah. Let me see if I can show something kind of interesting. This works just by itself, so you really don't have to go any further with this cover. Like I would ship this cover. The only thing I might add, we'll add one more thing, which is we're gonna add just a vignette to darken the edges a little bit. We're gonna fill it with black. Shift F5. I gotta remember that. I'm gonna set it to screen. There we go. And then we're just going to create an inner shadow, and that's really all you have to do. You can also like paint. You can paint one as well. But we're just trying to just darken the edges just a hair. That's all we want. We don't want like crazy amounts of it. We could do something really weird looking like color burn if you want, or just do two, like a burn, and then we just add another one that's like a normal, if you wanted the normal one, like the burn, and then just turn on the burn quite a bit, so you get some different effects around the edges, as you can see. And then this one is just like normal. Okay, so you could do something like that, or just normal. You get some cool color distortions when you're using something like a color burn, in my opinion. Color burn. Let's see. You can get some cool stuff. It's like 100%. Just dial it down. So it's just not very. You can even add some noise to the edges, so you can get some cool stuff. Anyway, I'm probably not gonna mess with that too much. I have that pretty low in the opacity, and this one quite a bit higher and a little more spread out. There we go. So that's as much as you could just stop there, and it would actually look really good. It actually, I don't even have to do any color correction on this. That's really rare. Usually I gotta pull together a bunch of, like I did with the fantasy cover, I gotta pull together a bunch of different stuff and like really alter them a lot to blend them. But because these both came out of Mid-Journey, I really don't have to do much blending at all. I might just adjust the levels like slightly. I might do like a level adjustment here. You could do general levels, or like we're just shrinking a little bit the range. But I probably wouldn't. I would maybe just adjust the levels on the model. See, just to darken her a bit. Just kind of there we go. There we go. That's as much. Now I'm going to do one extra thing. I'm going to try it. If I was doing this offline, I would of course not even think twice about trying something like this. I would just do it. But when it comes to designing book covers, which has a steeper learning curve, Photoshop or Inkscape? Photoshop, I think, just because there's more to do. Whereas Inkscape, because you're kind of more limited, I think it's an easier learning curve for Inkscape. But Photoshop, you can do so much. Like, half the crap I can do with Photoshop, half the crap you can do with Photoshop, I didn't even know how to do. There's things that get taken out of Photoshop though. Like I used to be able to do these planets in Photoshop. I could make new planets out of like landscape pictures and stuff, but I can't really do that anymore because they just remove they prune features, which is, you have to probably at some point, but I just don't really care that much about it. All right, I'm gonna turn off the little the edge darkener, and we're gonna do a couple of different things here. We're going to do a new layer, and we're going to call this Flare 1. Eventually we'll put all these in a folder. We're going to render a lens flare. Oh, wait. Got to fill it first. Fill it with black. Set it to screen. And then we're going to render a lens flare. And we're going to kind of put it over here by her head like this. Just like maybe right there. You can put it by your ear, like with the planet. Let's do it by the planet. Really want it white. The other option would be to put it right here. So we're basically adding like a sun that's shining through. So that's just like an extra little bit, but we can also put it here. Looks pretty cool, right? So we just added one extra little element that really kind of pulls it up, and you have this little lens flare effect coming up here that looks pretty cool, right? So you can add something like that to it, and we can even add a couple lens flares. So we'll just we'll do a couple new layers. Let's do another one, and we're gonna shift to 5, black, screen, and render. Another lens flare. We'll just do a different color, like this, like movie prime, and the same exact place. I'll just turn the brightness down a bit, or do something like this. I like this because it creates some different artifacts. So you have that. You just kind of drag it in the same place, and then we can just turn down the opacity a bit, so you just are not getting. Here you go. So anyway, that's just like an extra little touch. The cover could get you accused of being an Illuminati member because in some conspiracy theory circles, one-eyed symbolism, whatever. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care that much. We can also take one of these flares and put them behind the girl too. So it kind of lightens it behind her. You know? Put maybe this one behind her. Like that, and then we can actually crank up the opacity a bit. Or you can, you know, grab it and move it to over here, right? Make it like a little spaceship lighting up, or like put it on the spaceship. See? Do lots of fun things like that to like really just add a bunch of crap to it. Just depends what you want to do. I think these look a little bit better in front of her, but I mean, you get the idea. So. This is the brighter one. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Turn this one down a little bit. 2. There you go. And then we just turn on our little darkening effect, and there's our book cover. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. You never see lens flares, I think, of J.J. Abrams. Yeah. It's like he had so many lens flares in that Star Trek movie, was what it was. And if we turn off the lens flares, the girl pops out a little bit more. But if we turn them on, you know, it kind of hides any problems with the blending a bit more. Yeah, I think I like it. This is going to be lots of different kinds of space opera story or science fiction story. It's mostly yellow or orange and blue or green, like a teal color. It's a great contrast. And then we have it in the eyes, and then of course her red lips I think look really good too. Cool. All right, so there it is. We will export it real quick. Put it in there. You know, just to show why we really needed the top of her head. Like, I love this picture, but how am I'd have to put it up here because we're missing the top of her head. So you'd have to like arrange it with something like this. Personally, I think this would look really cool to have her up here. But I'd have to like redo the design. Let me show you an alternative design real quick before we go, because we basically designed a cover already. Where's the girl? Let's turn her off for a minute. Let's grab her. We're going to use our quick selection brush. We're just going to grab her and kind of pull the background out. Of course, it doesn't work good. That important that we get it perfect, because I'm just showing an alternative design. Fun fact about this song playing right now, I recorded it after I had what amounts to cranial surgery. It was a very weird week. Here we go. So I'm going to rip off a design I saw earlier this week from Another indie artist. So we could put Cosmic Nihil. Oops. Put it down here, and we're just gonna actually erase her. Let's get a brush. We'll just get a brush. Brush will do it. It's fine. We're just gonna erase. Yeah, we'll just erase everything but the face. Get out of here, girl. I think I saw Ryan Williams doing this earlier, so I'll just rip his design off. Just to show an alternative design. Oh, come on. Be quicker with a hard brush, but whatever. Also be quicker if I got out a tablet to do this, but it doesn't matter for right now. Okay, so yeah, like if I stuck her face up here, like this would work, but we have to put this in a different place. Like it's not gonna work here. Like you could cram it up here, you could put it down here, you know. You could also do something like this. Rotate 90 degrees. Oops. Edit. Rotate. Or do it all as like the same. The same thing. So you could do like something like that. And then you do your author name over here. Or even your author name right here, like this. So this is a really like different kind of design, but you could do it, right? It would actually work pretty good. And then we'll just pull her down here. So this is an alternative design, right? It actually looks. I would work on blending it more, but you could do something. Don't be afraid to like experiment and do weird things like, you know, pull a model kind of into a weird space, or do things vertically. You know, you could do lots of different things like that. Okay. All right. So anyway, and then of course we would adjust the gradient overlay so that it would be like this, maybe. Can we reset alignment? Try it. There you go. So it'd be something like this. It'd be closer to what you wanted. But I like the original design better. You know. So it's just another option that you can think about that I saw. I think Ryan Williams was doing it for one of his sci-fi book covers. So it looks good, and so now you could, you know, you could do it like this. Whatever you wanted. Right. But I like the original one better, so. Anyway, I messed it all up. I meant to save it as a different, it auto-saved it. Oh, we'll just, step back a bunch. Now we have two versions of it. Step all the way back here. Move. Alright. Just turn that off. Okay. Here's the original design. There we go. I like it. I think that looks good. I'll do book covers for people if they want them. You know, I'm looking at it on live and like, you know, this face by itself could just be a book cover. Like if you get a good enough face, that by itself could be a book cover. I did that with Merm Awesome. Like, you know what? I like just the face. I don't need any other elements. The face communicates enough. You know, if you could extend it up and give her hair, you could just use that face or any of them, really. So, all right, I think that's about it for this stream. Thanks for hanging out with me. We've done another hour. Hopefully, like, you picked up a couple things on using Photoshop and doing cover design to get things like this to pop out and what the colors are. Remember, you really only want to use 1 to 2 colors for a book cover. The big mistake a lot of new guys to design make is they start wanting to think like classical artists in terms of color and using lots of color. And you'll find that actually classical artists used very limited color palettes as well. They chose what colors they were putting on the canvas very carefully in order to control what they're doing. So it's the same thing with book covers. You want a limited color palette, and you want to choose colors that are a good high contrast. So blue and yellow, teal and yellow, blue and orange, those are really good choices. Purple and yellow have a really strong contrast, but they are complementary colors, things like that. So you really want to make sure that you're limiting your color palette and that you keep it simple with the colors, okay? So, and with the fonts, right? There's only 2 fonts here. There's Industry Ink and Futura. That's it. And like you get enough, you get everything you need out of those fonts. And those are really simple fonts you can use for lots of different things. You can also go with a more sci-fi font that like looks, but I like classic sans serif fonts. I think they look really good. If you go with kind of wacky sci-fi fonts that like Laserbeam, I like Laserbeam for like 80s stuff that looks like the 80s. You're signaling that it's like old school. You're signaling that it's like 1980s. And that may or may not be what you want. It just depends. So for me, I tend to say that's not exactly what I want. I think this setup works better if my picture's over there. Then you can see like the layers. I just realized that. Anyway, that's the cover. Cosmic Neil. It could be, you know, anybody's book. You know, if anybody wants this cover, if you wrote a book that is about like cyborg women and you want to use this cover, dude, you can have it. Just have fun with it. Make some money. It's the main thing is I want people to like make money. It's hard enough to make money in this business without having to spend a bunch of money and stuff on covers. All right, that's it, guys. I'm going to. I looked at the Japanese vampire images. Yeah, I did that at the end of the last stream. Let's take a look at them. That's not over here. And let me give an invite to the server. How do I do that again? I use Discord so little. Right? Like, this looks really good. Let's look at all of them. I think these are all stable diffusion. So I'm a fan of this one. Because of the simplicity of it. This one also looks good. That one looks good too. But yeah, I would probably take this one and maybe color the eyes. And that would work good too. You know? So you can get a lot of good faces. This one doesn't even really have the uncanny valley thing. It's really hard for the eyes to match. If you get the eyes to match, you're pretty good to go. So it's just a little bit of weirdness with the eye, but you can fix that. You know, this one looks really good, actually. Usually there's just a couple weird things with the eyes, but they're fixable. You know, they're really fixable. So you can save a lot of time. Save a lot of time. All right. Wait, I need to give them an invite. How do I invite people? No. That's it. You can tell I don't use Discord a lot. Yeah, give me a second. Invite people. There we go. Just invite. Find some friends directly. Copy. Alright, this should work. Alright, there you go. Okay. Oh, let me link books. Let me link books real quick. Three newest books that we're doing. One's out. Well, one's on Kindle Vela and coming out. The others are up for pre-order. So for pre-order, it's Al Shafalva. I don't know if I did this one live, but I did the book cover using the same stuff that we're doing here. Then Gen Y, Afterglow. That's another, it's kind of like the Gen Y story stuff that I did. And lastly, we'll do the Kindle Vela one, Lawless Darkness. So there's a bunch of episodes out already. I will assemble it into like just independent book when I'm done publishing it. So that's that. So thanks, folks. I will see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Let me know what you want to see or what you want to hear in the future too. What about covers for cookbooks, household maintenance? That's a whole nother thing. We could do that another time too. Cookbooks, you're going to want to have food as your central image, or whatever food you're doing, or whatever you're selling. So if you're selling a fitness cookbook, you want to show like a really fit person with like a bowl of salad. That would be like your central image. Be like the anabolic cookbook, or like, burn the fat with the 30-day diet. That'd be your cookbook. So that'd be stuff like that. It just depends what you're selling with the cookbook. You want to have the image of whatever you're selling. And then it's the same kind of stuff that we did for nonfiction, right? Like, basic color design, basic font design. Nonfiction's really easy. It's all about what you're selling. You don't need to be very creative because you're not selling a creative idea. So anyway, that's it for today, guys. GFP GAN can be used to fix the eyes, but it usually results in a loss of face detail. You can blend the two in Photoshop. What I'd probably do is just fix them in Photoshop because I think the detail comes out better that way. Just paint in you could use a smudge tool even and just smudge in the whites of the eyes and reshape the irises so that they're perfect. These are little details that a real painter doesn't overlook, but a computer maybe has a hard time knowing that that's something that has to look a certain way. So anyway, folks, that's it. I will see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day.